Shame is the silent architect. It builds walls around you long before you even realize you're living inside of them. For me, shame started early. Growing up in a body that the world treated like a problem, I learned to shrink in the ways that the mirror never reflected. I didn't fit in. I didn't get the grace that other kids did. And I didn't have the language to understand why every room felt like a performance review of my entire existence. I didn't realize how consumed I was with shame, how it slipped into every one of my decisions, my posture, my voice, my worth, and the truth. Unlearning that is an everyday process. Some days I feel lovable. Some days I'm still working on it, walking myself back home. And that's the work, choosing yourself again and again and again, even when the echoes of who you used to be still whisper. There's a point in everyone's enlightenment journey where they're walking in between two worlds, where you've dropped old patterns, but the 3D reality hasn't caught up with one yet. And so when that happens, it feels like you're literally living in two places at once because you are. You've made space, but it hasn't quite caught up yet. Shame isn't always about the body. Sometimes it's not about naturally being good at something. Sometimes it's about fumbling. Sometimes it's about being a human in a world that just wants to punish any imperfection and judge it and pick it apart. That's the problem. Instead of alchemizing it, because many of us are not taught how to alchemize, we internalize it. It becomes part of our identity, who we are. But shame is a lie dressed as a memory. And the moment you bring it to light, it starts to lose its power. This season isn't about perfection, it's about permission. Permission to accept the parts of you that you were told to hide, to be worthy in real time, to evolve without apologizing. We're not just here working on shame, we're redesigning our internal blueprint of belonging. Welcome back to the Pontificated. This week, we are turning shame into self-acceptance. Hi, I'm your host, Rain, Usui Reiki Master, Energy Healer, Acupressurist, Licensed Cosmetologist, Reiki infused press-on nail artist. Yes, Christmas, tacky, ugly Christmas sweater gaudiness has showed up on my nails. They bring so much joy. To get yours, I will leave a link in the description below. I am an overall occult enthusiast, so let's dive in. Welcome to the Pontificated, the side of the interwebs where we bridge the gaps between science and spirituality, merging mind, body, and soul. This next section, we are diving into the acupressure portion. So we're going to locate CV12, which is the center of self, and it's located from the end of your diaphragm to your belly button, so the center of your abdomen. You're going to press and rotate this area for 30 to 60 seconds. This point holds every story you've swallowed instead of speaking. Every time you tighten your stomach to endure. This area took the hit. Massaging here helps the system digest old identities, especially the one like I am not enough narrative. An affirmation or mantra that you can use for this spot is I released what was never mine. 27 is one of my favorite spots. It is kind of like the ultimate nervous system de-stressor. It is located right below the beginning of your collarbone. So if you go midline, about an inch below or over, And then right below the collarbone, you will find this point. Shame constricts the chest and stills the voice. K27 opens the breath, unbinds old pressure, and interrupts the instinct to shrink. This point resets your visibility. And remember, what we do to one side, we do to the other. You can do firm circular motions, or you can tap, or you can just simply apply pressure for about 30 to 60 seconds to each spot. I like to include an affirmation with them, a mantra, if you will. And so for K27, especially dealing with shame, is I return my voice to my body. I'm going to locate the wrist, and right below the wrist, so if you follow your pinky kind of all the way down, right here, the divot between the wrist and the arm, this is known as HT7, the spirit gate. Shame attaches itself to memory, and HT7 helps uncouple emotional charge, soothe the inner child, and soften self-judgment. I am allowed to be imperfect and loved. And remember, what we do to one side to the other, about 30 to 60 seconds. Any of these points we're going over today are going to be able to use when you are in a dysregulated system. It's going to help you to regulate. And once you regulate, you can look at things more clearly. Last and not least, we have GB20, which is the crown of reorientation. So you're going to have basically measure your hairline to your crown. Find that center, which would be right here. And then you're going to take your tip of your ear and that halfway point. So right directly in the center at the top of the head is GB27. Shame pulls your energy downward into collapse. GB20 realigns your posture, your spirit, and your internal narrative. Simply saying I rise while pressing this point or massaging it will open up your crown chakra and allow any stagnation to begin to flow throughout your body. Shame isn't just emotional residue, it's somatic architecture. Shame lives in 4 primary spots in the body. First, it lives in the chest and the sternum. Your fascia tightens here when shame teaches you to hide. Your heart begins to put up armor. You have more rounded and inward posture, a more protective stance. You're kind of rolling into yourself. So if you notice yourself doing that, to kind of open up this energy center, anytime you feel your shoulders rounding out, pull back. And I learned this from my belly dancing class, which I absolutely love. And I will say there are several ways, and we're going to talk about many of them, to move shame out of the body. But belly dancing, any type of hip movements and thrusting, because shame also lives in those hip flexors. The solar plexus, your identity center, that's why KV12 is such a beneficial spot, because that's the center of the solar plexus. Shame creates heaviness, knots, digestive challenges. Your body holding the stories you never closed. They still are running subconsciously. The throat and the jaw is another place where shame is stored. Shame from silencing yourself creates tension. It creates a clenched jaw. It creates a blockage and stagnation from beautiful energy flowing in and around. Because again, you're identifying these old stories even if you're not consciously aware of it. It's very much on a subconscious level until you bring it to the light and make it conscious. And from there, this is the process of the alchemy. Last but not least, shame is stored in the hip flexors, your deeper survival muscles. Shame grips here when your body is Bracing for rejection or judgment. Women especially tend to carry the majority of their shame in this hip area. Acupressure within itself is a somatic practice. Working with the solar plexus as well as the throat chakra and the sacral chakra are going to help you move that fascia out, especially doing hip movements, yoga, dancing, belly dancing especially, because it's tapping you into that sensual feminine energy that really kind of promotes that kundalini energy to rise. It's so beneficial at helping somatically teach the body a new story, because again, you may not be even aware of the patternings that you have around shame. I wasn't, definitely wasn't. And the more that I started learning and diving into my healing journey, the more I realized I had a lot of shame that had been stored, not only mentally keeping me blocked, but physically. My body was replaying it over and over again by the survival mechanism because it would dysregulate the nervous system. So use these acupressure points a lot, as much as you need to. They're always beneficial. There are some points that we don't recommend using regularly, but these are definitely all safe for anyone to use on a regular basis. Do a whole lot unless we face the shadows. This is how we bring those patterns to the light so we can make changes. Grab your journal, and just like every week, we're going to grab a page and say, "Dear Shame, let every hidden version finally speak. Allow it to have a voice." You can ask shame, and I like to ask questions, especially if we're uncovering patterns. So, dear shame, tell me where you came from. Tell me why you stayed. Tell me what you've taught me. Tell me what you were trying to protect. Tell me what you want me to release now. And as you don't really think about these questions, but you're going to start contemplating. Allow whatever comes up to come out. Don't filter yourself. This is not the time to filter. You're only having an open, honest conversation with you and yourself. So there's no need to sugarcoat. There's no need to hide. There's no need to not be honest. Right until it feels empty, till you feel like you've got it all out, till you feel like you can pinpoint the root. Like, hey, when I was little, so-and-so used to say this to me, and ever since then, I've kind of thought, like, I wasn't good enough. And so if you think about it and you start dissecting patterns, you're like, holy shit, this is why. But on the other page, when you finished with that, and again, take your time with this. Because a lot of times, especially if you're not used to being honest with yourself, it may take a couple days when you say, tell me where you came from. And it'll be a memory that just pops up while you're driving or while you're in the middle of your day and you're like, oh shit, that's where it came from. This is what it's trying to teach me. This is how it's distorted my energy. Oh, and you just have epiphany moment after epiphany moment. That has been my last 6 years consecutively, is epiphany moment after epiphany moment. All right, on the other page, this is the recalibration. This is you writing your new system. You're going to say, dear self-acceptance, and some prompts. Show me who I am without shame. Show me how to choose myself. This one will get you, because the universe will bring you everything close to what you want. But the test is you to choose yourself. And subconsciously, like deep down, at a cellular level, you're supposed to choose yourself. Show me what worthiness feels like. Show me how to stop shrinking. Show me the life that becomes possible when I stop apologizing for existing. This one. Show me how good it can get. And write until your soul feels heard. Worthiness isn't something you earn. It's something that you decide, honestly. Understanding shame isn't enough. To overcome unworthiness, you must start behaving like the future versions of yourself. Like we said at the beginning of this episode, it will feel at one point like you are living in two totally different worlds. Like the old you doesn't exist, but the new you is not formed, and you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? Trust me, when you ask and you sit in stillness, you will get all of the answers to your questions, I promise. When you close your eyes and see your highest potential, that version isn't just an aesthetic part of you. It's your instruction manual. This is the paradox of alchemy. You must first be there before you're actually there. And if you followed Joe Dispenza's work especially, he will tell you you have to feel it, and then once you feel it, you're living it. And that is so fucking true. I've seen this time and time again in my own personal journey. And so it's hard to, when you have receipts for the math not to math, I'm like, okay, the math, here we are. But what this really means is before you're there, before you're actually there, it means to stop entertaining people who cannot see you. I just went through this twice this year. Stop entertaining people that don't see you. And the divine has a way, the universe energy has a way to bring you old karmic patterns right before you loop and evolve that won't see you. They won't love you. It will be very transactional. It will be very one-sided. Stop tolerating relationships that don't hear you. Stop staying in environments that dim you. Stop repeating patterns that are familiar but not safe. Every aligned choice becomes new data. And that's how we start acting and taking that masculine step to protect our feminine energy. It's new proof, it's new wiring. Your nervous system rewires through action, not you telling yourself, not by fantasizing about it, but through action and through action alone. Every choice made from your higher self tells your body, we don't live in shame anymore. This is not acceptable. This is not what we do. May have been what we did, but it's not what we do. As we round out this episode, I need you to take one key thing away from this. You are not here to audition for a role in your own life. Shame may have lived in your body for years. A tenet in your chest, that whisper in your gut, a weight on your voice. But self-acceptance is the reclamation. It's the homecoming. It's the renovation of the entire emotional architecture. Every breath you take, every point you touch, every word you journal, every breaking generational patterns and stepping into your truest frequency. You are not becoming something new. You are remembering who you were before shame rearranged your identity. This is emotional alchemy, and you're mastering it from the inside out. With courage, with clarity, and a soul unbothered by its own expansion. This is it for this week's episode. Join me next Wednesday at 11:11 a.m. where we turn guilt into grace. I love you. Have a beautiful day on purpose. Remember to live and love out loud.